I am Doomsvince, and this is day 14 of Spawn Year.
Today, Doomsvince gave me a new pen, and he said that the next time I run out of ink, I'm going to have to write in my own blood. I have the sneaking suspicion he's doing this on purpose. Just 13 days in, and I need a new pen, and the new one is a gel pen. Wonderful. Expect to see red in this journal in a couple days. That's a fun toss-up. Write in your own blood for the better part of a year, or get buried alive with Spawn stuff. So now that the pleasantries are out of the way, today's comic. This one is mostly Clown bribing 3 punk kids to listen to him tell the story of how he killed medieval Spawn 800 years ago. The device of Clown saying one thing while the panels tell a different story is clever. Clown paints a picture of himself as the brave and noble hero who fights an evil wizard and his ugly witch mother, and the truth is, naturally, the complete opposite. This Spawn is malevolent and kind, the woman is beautiful, and Spawn is her loving knight in shining armor, and Violator is the hideous, heart-devouring monster he's always been. Some of these ironic panels are fun, like when Clown says, "The villagers opened their hearts to me," and you can guess what he really means. Remember that Malbolgia took away Clown's ability to change forms for mutilating mob bosses in a stupid plot that did nothing to further his master's goals, and I guess he has nothing better to do but try to impress punk kids. This seems like a weird excuse to make these flashbacks happen, and the only reasons I can come up with for giving us this background here is A, McFarlane thought medieval Spawn was cool and wanted to draw him again, and B, he has to remind us of how much of a threat Violator will be when he inevitably gets his monster morph back. Maybe the point of this flashback, considering that medieval Spawn's disintegration at the end is treated as a huge reveal, is to illustrate that this being a war between heaven and hell, the good guy doesn't always win like we're used to in the traditional superhero comic. Maybe that's why Clown paints himself as the hero, to present it like the classic good versus evil scenario, even though he's the real evil. It's a good idea thematically, but the execution is a little head-scratching. Clown comes right out and tells the boys he's from hell, and introduces himself with descriptors like meanest, baddest, and rottenest. So in the context of the situation, I don't understand why he paints himself as benevolent. Maybe he's just being ironic, but it's especially confusing when he calls his battle with medieval Spawn a match of good versus evil. He just said he's from hell, so in his version of the story, which of them is supposed to represent which side? It's very entertaining, but I don't get it. As a side note, the blurb advertising this issue in the back along with other image solicitations feels the need to announce these punks as 3 new characters, Clint, Mark, and Spaz, as if they're really important for some reason. As for Spawn himself, he's back from his trip to get revenge on Chapel and mostly wanders the alley aimlessly, berating himself for letting Chapel know he's alive when his assumed death was his greatest advantage before. He says he, quote, let his anger dictate his actions, which is awkward because last issue he kept constantly psyching himself out trying to stay angry because he thought he had some duty to himself to commit himself to revenge. Now, retroactively, it was more of a blind rage that he's just now thinking better of and realizing messing up Chapel's face was strategically a dumb move. I wonder if McFarlane is second-guessing the direction Spawn went there, and this self-reflection is in an attempt at reconciling Spawn's idiotic decisions. Meanwhile, Sam and Twitch are finally off the hook regarding Kincaid's gruesome corpse being found in their office, and they're in the alley searching for Spawn, who eludes them by walking in a different direction when they spot him, and letting his alley bum pals distract them so he can disappear. Wow, this issue is sure making a lot of headway on the plot there. I wonder how frustrating it must have been reading this in issues, where after 14 months, Spawn's character progression has been meandering in alleys and slowly walking from one spot to another to avoid confrontation, and the most proactive thing he's done so far is attack the man who killed him under false official information without explaining anything to him before ripping his face off. Makes me almost glad I'm reading this day to day. You know, besides the inevitable blood I'll have to spill to write about it. Hey, maybe tomorrow I'll get to read about Spawn walking around some more. I'm almost giddy in my anticipation. Signed, Captain Logan.